some of them just say, you know what, forget it, I'm getting nowhere here.
When you file litigation, you have to know the rules of that litigation. That's why some people employ a tax rep. Other people feel confident enough to handle it on their own. But it's still the obligation of the petitioner to prove his case and to use whatever sales necessary. I mean, and the sales are publicly available, so they can use those sales and adjust to how they see fit in order to make their case.
And we're one of the only New York jurisdictions who actually provided a set of comparable sales that were potentially used in the multiple aggression analysis. There is no other jurisdiction in New York State that does something like this, except some of the few upstate. And there's just one thing, we try to keep the SCAR filings, the SCAR comparables as close to January 2nd, 2019. Our policy is to keep it prior to, although if there's other circumstances that push the date past January 2nd, 2019, we will, but the policy is to heavily weight the publication date, whereas the petitioner can choose whatever date they choose for the comparable sales. But back to your point, we are the one of the few jurisdictions in the state that actually provide comparable sales to their taxpayers because we support our taxpayers' rights to challenge their values.
And the Arrow system in ARC also provides comparable sales.
Yes, they do.
Right, in the Arrow system. So they've been through the grievance process and used the Arrow system to begin with, which gave a wide range of comparable sales, much more than what we provided in our LRV. So if they went through the ARC process, they were exposed to all the sales in the area. And they could pick and choose whatever sales they want. So we provide a wide range of data both through our website and through the ARC website.
Okay, but you definitely would not go beyond January of 2019. The county would.
As far as I know, we don't go beyond January.
I just thought Mr. Miles said something different in the last sentence. So.
There are some circumstances where we do, but we heavily weight towards January 2nd.
But in some exceptional cases we do, but we weight heavily to that January 2nd date because that's taxable status date. But the homeowner gets plenty of sales to draw from on the Assessment Review Commission site too. They've gone through that process because they're pro se. They've gone through the ARC process. You can't go through SCAR unless you went through ARC. You have to exhaust your administrative remedy before you go to a judicial remedy.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question, Ellen.
1 second. Look, why don't we let Ellen go?
Oh, what? I just had one quick question and I'm done.
Fine. And then who was that? Was that Legislator Birnbaum also?
Yes.
All right. So once
Yeah,
Ellen finishes, then you go.
Just for purposes of historical context, Mr. Moog, you stated earlier that in 2004, after the last reassessment, there were 75,000 SCAR challenges.
Correct.
And in 2020, there were 80,000. So
Correct.
Is this typical anytime there is a reassessment, in your opinion?
Yes. When you do a reassessment after a long stagnant period, you do get quite a few administrative appeals and judicial appeals afterwards. That's very typical. It's happening. It happens in other jurisdictions around the state and in the country when you have a role that has been updated in many years.
Thank you.
Ms. Birnbaum?
Okay. So before, when we were discussing with Legislator Rhodes, the cases that are still pending, the 11,654, if
Yes.
these are representing homes throughout the county, could you extrapolate based on the ones that were settled, the median settlement, so that we know what it averaged at, so that way you could estimate, I would assume, how much you would have to pay out to remaining cases?
Well, from the information that's being requested by the legislature, you could probably run that number also, right? I mean, you could probably extrapolate that out also. That's why when I say 2.25 to 7.5 million, it sort of falls within that range, you know, from the decisions made before. That's why we use a range, because a lot of these cases, again, the cases that we felt very solid about, either no offers made or an offer is made and they rejected it, but mostly it's a no offer case from our end and a no offer case from ARC. So that's why we're not sure. We put the range out there, and again, budget off felt firmly. But we will provide the information after the review with council when submitted to my office, and then we get a further discussion on that.
Right, but based on what you're saying, is there any possibility it could be more than 30 million?
No. No.
And that's what we have in reserve. So,
No, it will not exceed 30 million.
all right. And then could you also give some historical perspective on how we stand now, how compared to how we've done in previous years, not just last year, because we're comparing everything to 2019, but could you put the accuracy of what you believe the role is now compared to some previous years and the amounts of cases that were before SCAR?
Yeah. Should I show go back to 2004? Or?
Yeah, that's
Okay, well, in 2004, after the reassessment 2004, there were 75,000 SCAR filings. 51,000 received reductions on the guarantee. And the refund that year was $38 million on the county guarantee. And most years, the number of reduction claims from 2002 to, I would say, all the way through to 2013, with the exception of 2011, 2012, the number of claims are going to far exceed what we're going to be exceeding this year on the county guarantee. So it's only during the years of the frozen roll that the refund claims dropped. But when you usually do reassessments every year, you do get claims, you do get litigation. But that year was 51,000. There were other years where you had 26,000 on the county guarantee reduction claims, 12,000, 13,000. So it's not uncommon during those past years. I will say, from the work that my staff did, along with Rob Miles and with mediation, we were able to resolve so many cases, get down to 11,000. It's still a remarkable number considering we were working under COVID, working remotely. This is the first time this has ever happened in the county where you had the entire staff working outside the office and the hearing offices working remotely. So I would say, considering the extreme circumstances we're working under, it's really remarkable that we only have 654 left, considering the efforts that were made. And again, we started talking about mediation with the court last year, and we were able to implement it in this remote Zoom process, which I have to say hats off to the staff on that. So if you look at past years, we had a fully funded staff and everything was done with a staff much larger than we have now. You still had more cases going on the county guarantee from 2002 through almost 2013, with a few exceptions.
Double the amount of staff and not during a pandemic year.
I mean, right now I have 52 staff members. Back in the day when Harvey Levinson was handling this, he had 280 people on staff, and he didn't have COVID, and he didn't have a frozen roll for a good number of years, 8 years or so, and come up with this, and we were able to still come out ahead owing to only 11,654 cases.
And the last time there were double digits of claims on the county guarantee is not that long ago, because in the 2013-2014 tax year, there was 11,187 claims. And
that were refunded.
And I do wonder if back then they received the same question we are receiving now, to Legislator Drucker's point. So it's not unprecedented. It happened as recently as the 2013-2014 year. And to Mr. Moove's point, right after the reassessment, they had more claims on the county guarantee by much, much more than this administration did.
Okay, well, I want to thank you and your staff for all the hard work you've done. I really appreciate it. And I believe that next year well, correct me if I'm wrong, do you believe that we will see a lot less people make claims based on what they're settling this year?
I would think the claim numbers should be going down, and God willing, with no COVID, we should have a normal hearing season and be able to resolve cases in a timely fashion. And now that we had the processes set up, even, God forbid, we're still in some sort of COVID lockdown, we'd be able to proceed as quickly as possible.
And I want,
We invented these policies, invented the processes really on the fly very quickly, considering we were in this pandemic situation.
right, and that anyone could just go to their computer and look up their property and see the comps and see all that information. I think it's very commendable because we didn't have that before this.
It was all invented in the processes, and hats off to the IT staff. NCIT really came through for us. The court had to have full cooperation of the court, and we had cooperation of the tax rep firms. So we were able to get, everyone got on board that we realized we had to resolve this, we had to work with them, and we got it done. Right, Robert?
Thank you.
So thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure, this is moving Steve Rhodes again, I'm not sure that we're looking at the same record. According to what I'm looking at, in 2004, there were 197 open claims that were subject to the county guarantee.
In 2004?
Which we're talking about the first year after the reassessment, right? Those are the numbers that we're comparing?
In the 2004-2005 tax roll, there were 75,000 cases filed, of which 51,000 went on the county guarantee, resulting in a refund of $38 million. We got those records from the filings we got from the OPS website, and we got our records from the Treasurer's office.
Yeah, we're gonna have to take it, obviously there's a discrepancy here, so we're gonna have to take a look at those records. But thank you, Mr.
Okay, well, we will provide those records where we got them from.
All right, anyone
Thank you.
else? Okay, I think we're done. Thank you, Mr. Moog. And thanks everyone else. We're adjourned.
Huh? Well, thank you.